Strong men don't think like you. And in fact, they don't think like weaklings. They don't think like peasants, which the peasants use all cure excuses, calling depression, using that as an excuse, telling themselves they're depressed, telling themselves that they're weak, telling themselves that that woman don't like them. Weak men think that way. They don't think like you. They don't loathe around in self-pity and weakness and hope for things to get better without taking action. They don't think like you. Weak men have this mindset of waiting for everything. For example, I know some weak men in my life who I cut out completely because I like my reality of pure strength. So what I did is I analyzed carefully what weak men is around me, what weaknesses are around me, and I cut it and chopped it off. You have to understand that weak men think like an ox. And what they do is they chop the ox balls off to make him weak. So weak men think like men whose balls are chopped off. Now, when a man whose balls is chopped off, he become an effeminate woman. He become a woman. So most of these weak men think like you, which is why you click this. You think like a woman. Perhaps you were raised by women. Perhaps women are superior to you. You view women as superior to you. You believe that women are superior. That's just a special creature that never lies and never does anything wrong. You believe that about women. That's absolute garbage. Strong men don't think like you. They do not go to a woman and beg and plead and cry. Oh, are you a little baby? Oh, you want to cry? Where's the blankie and napkin and the bottle of milk? Babies! Weak men! They don't think like that. These men cry for everything. Do you need a napkin? Do you need your pacifier and your milk? Oh, I can rock you. Sleep, you little baby. You're a full-grown man. You're a full-grown man. Now, I'm not talking about crying and achieving while you're crying, hitting push-ups, hundreds of push-ups while crying. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these men who cry and sit in front of the TV screen. These men who cry and decide, you know what? I could be much more in life, but here's what I do. I sit down, grab my legs, put it behind my head, and I'll try to suck myself. This is the weak men who we have. We have these weak men who want to scroll TikTok and scroll Pornhub and try and self-suck. This is the men we have. What are you doing? You're a monkey. You're a chimpanzee. What is going on here? So these men are completely screwed up in the mind, and it's because their mind is weak in the first place. There's a certain gap. These men are inferior. They're inferior. They have no strength about them. The second something discomfortable happens, they bend and fold. Nothing ever goes right for me. Lord, nothing. Cry babies. You're a baby. You are a baby. What are you, 12 months years old? Oh, you're 24. Babies. That's how most of these men act. They act like women and children. And once men are more acting like women and children, we have a weak society, which is what we're seeing. We're seeing all of these streamers start to become weak. We're seeing all these streamers with all this money. They're skinny fat. They don't even train. They have no presence to them. They can't even walk in the room and command a room with pure strength. Men needed physicality back in the tribal areas. That is the first number one tenet of being a man. Physicality and having a strong mind. Do you understand? Men back in the tribal areas, they had a strong mind about them that made them competitive and made them be able to conquer and fight against weakness. Because if they were weak, they would get conquered. The invading tribe would come and conquer them and take their women and take their children and take their resources. So these men had to be strong. They didn't have a choice. But now we don't have to be strong because what we can do, sit in front of the TV screen, look at the phone and scroll TikTok all day, and jack off the Pornhub like jackasses. You got men jacking off to furry porn. Oh, this YouTube. I can't. You got men jacking off to fairy prawn. Like what's going on? They're starting to effectively cuck and watch things that are degenerate, that will not help lead them to further advancement in life and the further advancement of humanity, which is why most of these messages are being purported. This is what they want to happen. They want the messages of degeneracy to be purported. So the invading tribe or whatever, this might be a civil war. Who knows? The invading tribe is conquering all of the men. All of these tools and all these different mechanisms, TikTok and all of this, is all specifically designed to be a castration. It's a masculine castration, a castration to make the men weaker than what they are. Because once we start to stand up and say no to all of the garbage, all of a sudden men start to become stronger. They no longer need to be dependent upon the system. But that's the thing. They have to have people dependent upon the system, or the system won't work. The system won't work anymore if nobody is dependent on a system. So there has to be slaves, there has to be peasants for there to be winners. And the winners are with me, and the winners are on the side of pure masculinity, trying to bring the strength back to the masculine people and back to the masculine you. This is a movement, which is why me and 80 men inside of Preem Operations, t.me/Preem Operations, the free Telegram link in the description. You can join right now. Me and these men are constantly fighting. We understand everything is war. If back then in the tribal era, our ancestors had to fight, those things will pass through us through biological hardwiring. We had to conquer something. We had to fight, which is the point I'm making, because I always make my points very, very carefully, because I'm Preem. I'm a fantastic orator. The point I'm making is these same tendencies are now being suppressed, so it makes men fold upon themselves, which is why we have degenerate men staring at the TV watching Family Feud. So, I mean, this is what we have. They don't think like you. Strong men don't think like these peasants who are a victim. Victim mindset. Nothing is ever their fault. They never take self-accountability. They always complain about their problems and never fix them. They're always complaining. They always say it's something else's fault. No, it is your fault. You deserve exactly what's coming for you in life, as we all do. I deserve the good and bad. But it seems like these weak men, they don't even recognize that. They don't deserve anything. They just think, why? They don't try to fix it. They don't try to fight. They don't have a mindset capable of fighting. They are weak. Which is why there has to be a separation. There has to be peasants and slaves if there's going to be kings. I'm happy. I don't want to save everybody. Because if I save everybody, there will be no more slaves. And the slaves has to keep the system running. There has to be losers for people to win. For me to win, there has to be losers. So if you do not want to come up here and I'm trying to drag you up at the top of the mountain, if you want to stay down there, then stay a loser. Stay a loser. Who cares? I surely don't. The cars you want, don't. The women you want, don't. The life you want, don't. They don't care how you feel. Those things don't care how you feel. Why should I care about how you feel? If you don't want to help yourself, I want to help people who want to help themselves. How can I help you if you don't even want to help yourself? Make it make sense, right? So all of these people need to shift themselves into a new identity. They need to become Preem. Preem is this fantastic force on every plane of existence. There's nothing Preem cannot do. There's nothing Jake Preem cannot do. If he put his mind to something, it happens. If he goes somewhere, oh, this Preem, oh, that's Preem. Preem. Whatever you do, Preem. Of course, he has to win. Preem is a fantastic force. He cannot lose. He is impenetrable. He is indomitable. He cannot fail. Preem can't lose. So you need to develop this sense of urgency to become like Preem. You need to become like Preem. Preem is in fact, Preem was developed through hardship, going out into the wilderness, training his mind, fasting, not eating food and water, boxing, playing chess, all of these things he did since his youth. He didn't have to wait till he got older to do these things, right? playing football, in the orchestra, all of these things throughout my life, I've created myself to be a life full of hardship. I wanted to develop myself and develop my mind. I went out into the wilderness and trained and fasted and controlled my mind and went against the wild beasts. Me. Because as I said, men used to have rituals as to how they could become men. They used to send boys out into the wilderness with no food. And if they came back and survived, then they were now a man. There's no rituals for that today, which is why I created that ritual for myself. And I went out there and did it, and I made it back and became a man. You need to become a man first through physicality and through strength. You need an urgency and desire. Most of you do not like your own body. You can go to the mirror right now and you will look at yourself and be like, man, of course she don't want me. Of course she don't. Look at my body. Of course. Go to the mirror right now. If you can't look at yourself and say, I have a fantastic body of a superhero. If you know you don't look like a superhero, you need to do something. You need to desire to change quick now. You need to become Preem now. You have no time to wait. What are you doing with your time and energy? Most of you are living a life of hedonism and pleasure, which will lead you exactly where you're going to lead, down to hell. It's like a life of hedonism, fun, and pleasure. It's like a ramp down to hell. Hell is an unfulfilling life. I would argue. I would argue hell is a place with no purpose. You're just wandering around. It's just hedonism, filth, disgustingness, shame, anxiety, depression. That's hell. And guess what? If that's hell, then guess what? Most people on earth is living a life of hell because God hates weakness. God hates sloth and laziness. And most of you loathe your own weakness. You loathe your own laziness and you pity yourself. You need to stop this garbage. You need to desire to change quick and now. Stop waiting to change. Change can happen as quick in 7 days, which is why I mentioned this in my free Telegram. You can click the link in the description to join. I gave an exact 7-day blueprint as to how to change in 7 days. These other people get online, oh, it takes 90 days, it'll take 60. Losers! They're lying to you. And in fact, they don't even have the real methods. I have the real methods. I tell you, mind control. If you want to win in life, if you truly want to succeed, you need mind control. It's not just about succeeding anymore. It's about becoming a strong man that is capable of resisting the enslavement of humanity. When men stand together and fight against weakness, guess what happens? We have resolutions. We have things that make humanity again. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create weak time. Weak time create. It all goes exactly how it goes. It's a cycle. Life is cyclical. The same things that's happening in history is happening now. Now, do you want to be a part of the strong men or do you want to continue to be weak? You have a choice. But I will argue any choice you make, it's all going to lead. Any choice you make, besides the choice to become strong, leads to hell. If we're telling you at the top of the mountain, I, Top P, Preem, J Preem, and telling you from the top of the mountain, do what you need to do, dedicate yourself, create a desire to change, start to control your mind, start to become better, and women will love you. You make more money. You'll be more successful. You train more. Your body will look like you'll be a superhero. Basically, a real life superhero. You'll be that. But if you don't listen to that, then you'll listen to these streamers. What is these streamers telling you to do? You have to analyze these things very, very carefully. As a professional I've analyzed these things. These streamers are telling you to watch their streams. They're telling you to go out and drink alcohol, go out and party, go out and lose your life, and go out to these clubs, go out to these concerts with these rappers who don't give a care if you died. These people don't care if you go die out in a car crash. Why would they care about you? They just care about their streams and getting views. They're not telling you any helpful information like I am. Like I'm Preem, ma'am. They're not trying to help you. Why do they care? Why would they care about you? If they're not telling you anything that will better their life, why would they care? Think. So you need to gather yourself around men who are actively trying to get better. Do not not listen to the influences that are telling you or distracting your mind. Do not listen to the influences that are distracting your mind. All of it is a distraction. The TikTok is a distraction. The Pornhub is a distraction. All of it is a distraction. You need to blink and control your mind. You need to blink and pizzazz your brain. You need to blink and become preem. Control your brain. It's so easy to win if you can control your brain. But it seems like everybody want to cry like little babies. Oh, let me get your pacifier and your little blankie so you can lay around and cry like a little weakling that you are. Oh, it's okay. Little babies! These people are babies. They want to be baby. When they feel sick, they roll around in bed waiting for someone to come make them feel like a baby. Oh, it's okay, baby. Here's your pacifier. Oh, do you want me to get you some water? Oh, good. Hey, baby. Babies. These are grown men. They're certainly not strong men, because I'm telling you the mindset of strong men. Strong men listen to wise counsels. Strong men emulate stronger men. Strong men understand that there are some traits about specific men that they particularly like, even though they may hate that man. They pick out that and say, you know what? I like that. I want to use that. I want to become that. So you can look around and analyze who in your environment are strong men. Look around. Who is trying to get rid of the mindset of weakness actively? Who is trying to put in the work actively? Who is not laying around, loathing around in filth, trying to jack off and self-suck themselves? You need to analyze and see which men in my life are actively, even on the internet, who's actively trying to tell me to become stronger. Because I'm gonna tell you this will help you, because understand that we're all being programmed to a certain degree, and everything you listen to, all of the garbage, everything you listen to is programming you. You have to be very selective about programming. So once you select the programming, you get to cut out certain things that tell you to stay a loser. You need to cut those things out. You start to listen to people who tell you to become a winner, people who's telling you how to become a strong man, right? So I carefully analyze my reality and allow myself to bring myself above my environment by listening to strong men, by listening to the strong men that's in my environment, the strong men who I understood, they have something that I will personally want. They had the change, they had the money, they had the suits, they had the fits, they had the everything, right? I see these things growing up and I said, I want to be exactly like them, right? I don't want to go to jail, but I want to be, because I grew up around drug dealers, gangsters, hitmen. My grandfather was a hitman, Clutch Nolly. My father was a gangster, Craig G, and I grew up around drug dealers. I grew up around gangsters. I've seen my cousins go to jail. I even grew up with a pimp. My great uncle was a pimp. So I grew up around these things, but they were all strong men. I want you to understand something. No matter what your occupation is, there are men that are good at being men. There are strong men, no matter if they were a detriment to society. Maybe perhaps some of these men were a detriment, right? But they still had a strong mindset about them, a strong physicality. So what I'm trying to say is your environment heavily influences you and how you are shaped as you grow older. Even now, you're still being shaped by your environment. So the way to rise up above your environment is to listen to new influences telling you the things of which you need help. You can't listen to the losers in your reality. You need to listen to people like me, people like Preem, people like all of the movement that is telling you to become better. Work on yourself as a man. Control your mind. Start getting more disciplined. Start going to the gym and training more. Start getting more money, making more money to reach your potential. It's really not even about money in and of itself. It's about reaching your potential as a man, reaching your capacity, right? And I tell you these things, I genuinely want you to control your mind. Mind control is the only thing important, right? Because if you control your mind, you can make more money. Women love you. Men respect you. All of it, if you can control your mind. But the opposite of that is thinking like most of these people who's watching, thinking like a peasant. Because when you think like a peasant, you live a peasant's life and you get exactly what you receive. That's karma, the law of karma, right? So you will get exactly what you want out of life. Everybody deserves exactly what they have. Everybody, because you had a choice. And I do not feel sympathy for people who have a choice. If you had a choice and you choose to be less than what you could have been, I don't care. Why should I care? You certainly didn't care. You didn't care enough to change it. So that's the mindset of weaklings. The mindset of strong men, of Preem, is a mindset that allows you to be competitive everywhere. It's a mindset of no weakness. So you need to get from the current level mindset, which your environment and society and the matrix, the system, and the devils have purported them on you, and you need to come up here, which is why I'm trying to let you bridge the gap. But you have to use this information. The master can show you the path, but you have to walk it. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot force it to drink. You can give a dog a water bowl, but you cannot force the dog to lick the water. I'm trying to tell you, if you just dedicate yourself, if you go inside the Preem Operations, t.me/Preem Operations, if you read the Telegram chat, if you dedicate yourself for once in your life with me and the other 80 men, I guarantee you, your life can change. This is a movement against weakness. This is a war on weakness. And strong men don't think like you. Strong men think like me. And I'm trying to implore this mindset upon you. So join us.